The KTM Duke 390 is a revolutionary bike for our Indian market for so many different varied reasons. Generations of motorcyclists will refer to this bike as the one that changed the scenario in year 2013 by pushing the performance envelope to boundaries where no other manufacturer had ever been before. Well, you see, that's not the only reason why this bike is stunning. This bike is made in India for the rest of the world, for these other 76 countries that KTM caters to. When KTM's quality and fun philosophy is merged with Bajaj's powerhouse production capacities and their scale of economies, you stand to get a world-class product at a price that will literally bring tears of joy to your eyes.
That is, however, not the real reason why you want to buy this bike. The reason you will is because of this.
The engine on the 390 is a single-cylinder 375cc that churns out 44 bhp and 35 Nm of torque. But then the engine weighs just 36 kgs and the rest of the bike roughly weighs another 103 kilos. So the entire motorcycle weighs just 139 kgs dry. That gives it a power-to-weight ratio almost reminiscent of the 2012 Aston Martin Vantage V12. All this put together means then that riding this bike is like riding a raging bull. That means you need to know exactly what you're doing when you're riding this bike.
The rule of thumb when you're riding big capacity motorcycles is that you have to treat them with respect. The same way you have to respect the rules of the road. And that's exactly why the KTM Duke 390 is going to be a pain in the ass. Because it's so devastatingly simple to do warp speeds on this bike. And it does it so deceptively that you have no idea how fast you're going until you actually look down at the speedo. Don't believe me? Well, let's talk numbers then. 0 to 60, 2.6 seconds. 0 to 100, 5.5 seconds. The second gear itself will take you to 81 kilometers an hour. So even before you know it, you will be flying at speeds that'll take you that much closer to God if you aren't careful.
Anything that goes as fast as the Duke 390, well, that needs adequate braking power, and the 390 delivers that in spades. It's got 300mm disc up front as against the 280 of Duke 200, and compound that with the stickiest tires that an Indian motorcycle has ever had, Metzelers. That means that you can stop the bike on a dime. The initial bite is, yes, definitely not there, but then the braking is super progressive, giving you great amounts of confidence and, of course, excellent stopping power.
And that's just the start, because what makes the KTM Duke 390 one of the safest bikes to ride is its terrific 9M Bosch ABS system, which has been developed in close collaboration with Brembo. I especially love how the ABS kicks in super late, which gives you the confidence to brake really deep into a corner. I wish I could say the same thing about the rear brake though, because it's a lot more sensitive and tends to lock quite easily. Having said that, I absolutely love this system, and it gives you immense confidence to brake even in the most dire road conditions. And for those of you out there who are brave enough to face the repercussions, like you stunter folks out there, yes, the ABS can be switched off.
Now the riding stance on the Duke 390 is much the same as was the case on the Duke 200, which means the rider, as you see, sits in a sporty manner but is upright. The rear set foot pegs along with sculpted tank sees the rider's knees well locked in, adding to the confidence. And of course the seat, as was the case on 200, it still is pretty firm, so even short rides your butt will start aching, but then it's just a question of either getting used to, or you can opt for an aftermarket gel seat. Now the seat height on the 390, it's a good 10mm less. You sit lower onto the 390, which is in sync with its philosophy of clubbing all the masses together close to the center of gravity of the bike to aid mass centralization, which is again intact with the playful maneuverability of the bike in city and on the highway. This one's the Duke 200, and there are arguments going around saying that since this bike costs way less than the 390, that then the 390 should look a lot more beefier and a lot more exclusive. Which, honestly, if you ask me, it does. It looks absolutely perfect with its orange alloys, orange trellis frame and lined side by side. You can notice the difference in the size appeal. And then there is another thing that you can do when you have the 390 and the 200 Duke lined up side by side. For that we need a fat friend. A national racer who weighs peanuts. A KTM Duke 200 and a Duke 390. And lastly, a straight patch of tarmac. We find out just how powerful and fast the 390 really is when compared to the Duke 200, and we find that out in an industry standard way. And the national racer loses to the fat friend. Yeah! This is the champion and yeah. Oh, you lost. National racer, being competitive that he was furious and things were getting out of hands very quickly. And just when we thought that things would get uglier, an uninvited guest turned up at our event to spoil the party.
What's up, boys?
Equipped with the courage gotten from the victory, our biscuit man more than stepped up to the challenge.
Well, good day to you too.
And fast as he is, the national racer decided to sneak away the Kawasaki 300 to ride it like he had stolen it.
Perfect if they had like cheese lining all over.
The short first and the second gears see you accelerating hard on the bike, while the taller gears 3 to 6 allow you to putter around in the city with ease and also cruise on the highway without having to make a lot of gear changes. That's something that the Duke 200 did not allow for. Sergeant's top speed pursuit saw him doing a top whack of 172 km/h speedo indicated, but the taller gearing means that you take a while before you reach that number, especially past 140 km/h.
The 390 uses the same 43mm inverted forks and rear monoshock from WP as on the Duke 200. But to handle twice the amount of power, the suspension damping has been revised and the ride now is more stiff. The chassis too stays the same but proves to be more than capable to handle the extra power, providing the same agility and feedback as on a Duke 200. The wheelbase too has been increased by 5mm to give you more confidence and stability mid-corner. All of these factors almost seem irrelevant in front of the one thing which has truly turned the 390 into a dynamite around corners, and that's the Metsila tires. They're downright brilliant. I was riding in the dampest of conditions, and even under hard braking, there was hardly any movement. Even in the dry for that matter, hard downshifts hardly ever saw the tail step out. That's how sticky the tires are.
Let's throw a verdict out there for all the folks watching us. What is the 390?
I think it's powerful, it's potent, and at the same time it's not very overwhelming. I mean, it's still very user friendly, and with the equipment, I mean the ABS, the potent brakes, and of course the Metsila tires.
Oh, those are...
They make this bike one of the safest bikes to ride fast in India right now.
What is annoying about the bike though, in this particular version of it, it's a new bike, and given its high compression ratio, or I don't know exactly what, if the engine's warm and you happen to shut off the engine, good luck getting the bike alive back again. It's not going to happen until you frantically press and thumb the starter more than a couple of times. Cold starts, no problems at all, but warm starts,
big problem.
Just doesn't work well.
So the extra juice and the new gear ratios, you can do pretty much everything. And while you're at it, it'll make sure that it'll add an extra dose of adrenaline no matter what you choose to do with it. And especially at that price, come on, I dare you to complain.
That's right, folks. At 1.98 lakh rupees on road in Pune, this bike brings an awful lot to the table and at a fraction of a cost. And for that, kudos to Bajaj and KTM. It is a game changer, as what we have said already. So yeah, that would be it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do let us know what you think about our review at our community, powerdrift.com/community. And we're going to be uploading a whole lot more raw, unedited footage about the 390 for all you KTM fans. So check it out there. Until then, goodbye. See you.